Hello everyone, welcome back if you're a returning viewer. WB here, and in this video what I want to do is show you how you can create configuration policies for macOS devices inside of Microsoft Intune. As always, I ask if you're enjoying the videos that you see, remember to like, subscribe, share, and comments are always welcome. Continue this discussion with us on our community Discord server, link in the description below. It's time, let's go ahead, let's dive in. Hello everyone, here we are on my Windows desktop, and like I said in the intro, we're going to be going ahead and configuring something known as configuration policies for macOS. Configuration policies. Boy, that's redundant. I'm logged into the Microsoft Intune Admin Center, and navigate with me as we're going to go to devices right here, about halfway down the list. And then from devices, we got a couple of options here. We can use the drop-down menu, and if we want, we can go ahead and choose macOS from here, and you also have the tile interface that you can use too. Not sure which one that they'll ask you on the exam, but each choice is still going to take you to the same location, which is good. Now, once you're in macOS devices, we're going to scroll down under Manage Devices. Here, the first one on the list is Configuration. We're going to select Configuration, and if we've got configuration policies here, we will see them already in the list. Now, when we go to configure a configuration policy, create one, I guess I should say, we're going to choose the drop-down arrow here. We're going to choose New Policy, and we'll get a little pop-out blade on the right. And here's where we can select, depending on what it is that we need to accomplish. Like we've seen in other videos, check them out. You can see them as they pass by during the video. Sometimes we get a platform option. In this one, in this case, we're only focused in on macOS. So here, that's going to be selected for us. But under Profile Type, we'll have two options, Settings Catalog, and we'll also have Templates. Now, if we look at Settings Catalog, what that's going to do is that's going to give us every possible setting for the device that we've selected. In this case, even though we don't have an option, but even if you're using these settings catalogs in, where you have multiple platforms that they apply to. Templates, on the other hand, which is what we're going to use, a little bit simpler, a little bit more simplistic for our videos and demonstration here, we're going to use Template. And when we select Template, what you're going to see is that it's going to give us a few categories. And these categories, essentially, templates are a set of grouped settings based on their functionality, right? Like device features, if I scroll down, you can see things like configuring the wired network, configuring your 802.11 network or Wi-Fi, including things like VPNs. We can configure a trusted certificate, right? If we need to maybe, configure like an Apple push notification certification or a certificate authority like that, we can configure that as well. So for me, what I'm going to do is I figure we'll do a common one here. We'll do device restrictions. Now, one of the things I always mention as we go through these videos, keep yourselves on your toes and learn more information as you go through it. If you're doing this yourself, and hover over these little thought bubbles, the little exclamation points, they give so much good information. Like for instance, device restrictions, I'm going to be looking for our password configuration there, right? Common one that we need to know, something that we commonly do, and applies to all the different enrollment types that you could have. But if I didn't know that, look here, I can just hover, right? And notice device restrictions control security, hardware, data sharing, and more settings on some devices, right? So I'm going to select device restrictions. Let me zoom out here. And then from here, we're going to choose create. Now, when we choose create, if you've seen the other videos that we have on creating other types of profiles, like our configuration profiles for Android devices, right? Depending on what we have to configure or what kind of profile or policy in this case that we're creating will dictate which options are available here. So like always, we have our basics, right? So maybe I'm going to call this the Southeast US Mac OS config. Let's see, I can spell config, I swear. I torture you all with my horrible typing. Config 01, right? Remember, your naming convention is a one-size-fits-you, not a one-size-fits-all, but I would make sure that you can understand that it has, that the name gives context, right? If I was just to say policy 01. That wouldn't really tell me what's going on, but I can see that this is a macOS configuration policy, and it applies to my macOS devices, or the company, I should say, is macOS devices that are in the Southeast U.S. Office. Now I'm going to choose Next here, and here when we use templates, remember it's going to give us a series of grouped settings, right? So for instance, for us, it is the device restriction template that we selected here, and we can configure a variety of different things, including like cloud and storage. One thing to pay attention to is the enrollment type. In this case, cloud and storage, you can see these settings. You guys are an intelligent crowd out there, right? Everybody is. All enrollment types, but you will see, let me see if I can find one here real quick. I think the App Store does this. Yes, here we go. So notice this is automatic device enrollment, and there are a few different ways that automated device enrollment, or ADE in this case, could come into play. It could be the Apple School Manager or Apple Business Manager, but it is saying that this setting applies to those devices. So you want to be careful. Just pay attention when you're applying any setting, what the enrollment type is when you are, creating the scope for this profile. Right, so this is all enrollment types, and the reason I picked this one out is because it is a very common thing that you want to be able to do as an IT administrator, and it will make up a lot of the time, around security, when I should say it should reduce the amount of time, and administration goes involved trying to maintain passwords. We want to be able to control those in a centralized fashion, not in a decentralized fashion. And this is one of the ways that we can do that, is essentially what I'm trying to say here. And it does apply to all enrollment types, and that's why I think it could be something that you see on the exam. It might not be, but at least you have something very common that you can use as well in the real world, right? So I'm going to go ahead, turn this on, right? So require password. I'm going to go ahead and require an alphanumeric password. And remember your little thought icons here, right? So notice this says number of non-alpha numeric characters in the password. I really hope you all can get to the answer quick. It's special characters. Right? So hopefully that's, that kind of makes sense here. So I could say, hey, you got to use at least one special character. What do I want a minimum length of? Maybe I want a minimum length of 10. Maybe I don't. Maybe I want, not 18. Maybe I want something like 8, right? And I want to block simple passwords, right? I want there to be some kind of complexity behind them, because that's certainly important when it comes to the password strength and resiliency against password-based attacks. For instance, age, right? So notice it says expiration. Think of this as your age, your password age, right? Oops, and forgive me, everybody. It looks like I am launching everything on my desktop. So just for you all, you can see swing and a miss, right? This is what happens when you're on live from recorded television, right? So now what we're going to do, we could say, hey, we want a 30-day time here. All right. Do we want a block out duration? Do we want to, maybe we want to prevent things like, what is it called? The hammering attack, right? Brute force attacks against passwords, right? Hammering attack is when you're trying to enter in multiple fingerprints in a fingerprint recognition, right? We don't want anybody being able to sit here and tap through the passwords on these devices. So maybe we say our sign-in attempts, we want to make 10. However, be careful though, because you also want to make sure that when it comes to things like the lockout duration, how long do you want the lockout duration? Maybe I want that lockout duration. Maybe I don't want it to be that much. Maybe I want it to be 5 times or 5 minutes, excuse me, right? And you don't want the lockout to be too much. Remember, when it comes to privacy, or not privacy, but security, it's a fine balance between securing your devices and overburdening the users. Keep in mind, you overburden your users, and they're going to try to find ways around your security implementations. It's just the nature of the way, it's just the way it is, right? Now, once you've done that, you're going to choose Next. All right, you've configured your settings, and let me see here. Hopefully it's going to let me choose Next. See, not configured. Sometimes I might. There we go. I had to kind of wake it up there when I launched everything on my desktop. Apparently, I confused the browser too. Congratulations, WB. All right. So, included groups. What devices do we want to include? So, for this is where we can add groups to it. Maybe we've got a sales team that loves Macs, prioritizes Macs. They use those a lot. So, we're going to go ahead. We'll assign this to that group. All right, and we're going to choose next here. Our review screen is very, very important. I can tell you, if you're like me, you've watched me type, you've seen me hit keys on the keyboard and launch everything right there on the desktop. Use the review screen. It does come in handy. Make sure you've configured everything appropriately. It can save you some time of having to reconfigure it. Trust me, I know. And then we're going to choose Create here, and up in the upper right-hand corner, if we've done everything right and we've clicked the buttons appropriately, we should see that we have successfully created that profile. All right, now we can see the profile here. Never fear the refresh. Choose this refresh option here. Notice that we now have two different device restriction policies here. More specifically, configuration policies, right? And what we wanted to do in this video. So let's go ahead and select that. When we look at that policy, this is where if we wanted to, we could delete it. But we could also see some attributes related to the policy when it applies, success, errors, conflicts. We can do a generate a report. It'll take a few minutes to generate the report. Now, I don't have currently, I'm going to be enrolling macOS device in a future video, so currently we don't have this. We might come back and show you how to apply the policy here as well, or we just put the macOS device in the group that we have signed this to, and it'll automatically apply to that device. But then we can, if we needed to, we could modify the properties as well. So if you're like me, like I said, can't type, save your life, you might have to come back here and visit this if you don't pay attention to that review screen. But there you have it, everybody. That is how you configure the configuration policies for macOS devices inside of Microsoft Intune. We've got a lot more videos to come up in this series as we go through endpoint administration. As always, I ask you if you like the videos that you're seeing here, like, subscribe, share, comment, click the notification bell. Remember, join us on our Discord server. Link in the description below. And as always, keep learning. Thank you for watching.